and let us all do we can to build a better future. As the world tiptoes closer to unending conflict, madness, and insanity, it's important for us to take some joy in what we can get, especially through humor. Now, we talked about how Cenk Uygur is making this hilarious run for the Democratic nomination, and that's pretty funny to laugh at. But I think it's also important for us to laugh at when somebody gets utterly destroyed on their own program. And Piers Morgan is a smug SOB and an outstanding individual, decides to bring dark humor into this world that is forever getting crazier and crazier. And I want to give a huge shout out to Bassem Youssef as he rips into Piers Morgan's show, because they're talking about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So I could easily sit here and talk about it, but I got some highlights of Bassem Youssef versus Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan is made a fool. So sit back and relax and enjoy the humor, because we need it now more than ever.
It's Bassem Youssef. Bassem, it's great to have you back on the program. I wish it was under different circumstances. First of all, what is your reaction to what happened on October the 7th?
Oh, it was terrible, of course. I mean, we kind of get our news kind of also secondhand because, you know, my wife's family, they live in Gaza. They have cousins and uncles there, and their house also was bombed. We haven't been able to communicate with them for the past 3 days. Communication are lost. So we don't know actually what is the, how are they doing, but, you know, we're used to that. I mean, it's just like, it's very repetitive. We're used to that. We're used to them being bombed every time and moving from one place to the other. You know, it's just like those Palestinians, they're very dramatic. Israel killing us. But they never die. I mean, they always come back. You know, they're very difficult to kill, very difficult people to kill. I know because I'm married to one. I tried many times, couldn't kill her.
I mean, there's a...
That, I shouldn't laugh, but I love dark humor. So hang on, folks. There's more gems. There's more gems coming. Hang on. Let the good times roll. Let us relax and enjoy this some more.
Dark humor there, and I understand why. Because
it's not dark humor. I try to get to her every time, but she uses our kids as human shields. I can never take her out.
Hold on, Piers. Let's just look on Piers' face. Wait. I'm sorry. Wait.
Kill her.
I mean, there's a dark humor there, and I understand why. Because
it's not dark humor. I try to get to her every time, but she uses our kids as human shields. I can never take her out.
Yeah, he's like, okay, but hold on. There's more, lovelies. There's more. Let's play this.
But like, there's a point. There's a very important point here. You know, I want to understand what is the logic of Israel carpet bombing Gaza. I mean, if there's a logic, if this will make Israel safe, I want to hear the logic. So if they continue bombing, what are they hoping to achieve?
Well, I think we know what their stated aim is. Their stated aim is to eradicate and wipe out Hamas. They believe Hamas are living predominantly in northern Gaza. They also are aware they're living amongst civilians. So it's an incredibly difficult thing. As I said in my monologue, you know, it is very, very difficult to see how they do this without massive collateral damage.
Now, Piers is instantly triggered. He's going to get a little perturbed, a little bit angry. He's going to become a little bit more furious. And by the way, I do like the bottom here, the comment section here, because again, look, everyone's entitled to opinion, including celebrities. Everyone's entitled to opinion, right? But in a moment, if you see there in the bottom box, Israel, should celebs stay out of it? What do you mean? Like celebrities shouldn't weigh in their opinions? Everyone deserves to have an opinion. And you know, I've been noticing a lot, especially with what happened to a good friend of the show, JB's show, who's been censored. I mean, I don't like this massive wave of censorship and how people are being silenced and suppressed. This is downright brutal and maddening. And on a recent live stream as well that took place last night, Savvy Sav's live stream was momentarily disabled. Why'd that happen? That could be a lot of things. It could be technical. To be fair, it's just a little suspicious what's happening to independent media. That's all. Just throwing it out there.
So if I can understand this correctly, basically Israel is doing this to pressure the Palestinian community in Gaza to turn against Hamas. Is that right?
I'm sure that's part of it, yes.
That's part of it. So this is exactly what terrorist organizations do, because terrorist organizations will have no chance beating a whole nation in battle. So they terrorize and they kill the civilians in order to spread fear and terror so they can turn against their government to change their policy or to resign. You have just compared Israel with ISIS.
No, I haven't. I don't.
So what you may not have noticed in that little segment right there is that Bassem Youssef made Piers Morgan admit that the apartheid government of Israel is a terrorist state. Let's rewind that again in case you missed it. Let's rewind it again one more time. One more time for the people in the back. Just so people can hear it.
So if I can understand this correctly, basically Israel is doing this to pressure the Palestinian community in Gaza to turn against Hamas. Is that right?
I'm sure that's part of it, yes.
That's part of it. So this is exactly what terrorist organizations do, because terrorist organizations will have no chance beating a whole nation in battle. So they terrorize and they kill the civilians in order to spread fear and terror so they can turn against their government to change their policy or to resign. You have just compared Israel with ISIS.
Gotcha. Got him. Got him. Hold on. Hold on. You know what? Maybe, I'm sorry. The sound wasn't on. One more time for you beautiful people. I apologize. I turn up the volume just so you can hear it. One, a more, a time.
This correctly. Basically, Israel is doing this to pressure the Palestinian community in Gaza to turn against Hamas. Is that right?
I'm sure that's part of it, yes.
That's part of it. So this is exactly what terrorist organizations do, because terrorist organizations will have no chance beating a whole nation in battle. So they terrorize and they kill the civilians in order to spread fear and terror so they can turn against their government to change their policy or to resign. You have just compared Israel with ISIS.
I'm sorry.
Oof. 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 Oof.
No, I haven't. I don't see any comparison between.
It's going to be the headlines tomorrow. Piers Morgan, Israel is ISIS.
Only amongst people who won't listen. The comparison.
But hold on. There's a little bit more. There's a little bit more here. There's a little bit more. Hang on, folks. Hang on, my lovelies. We've got more here. Much more.
I mean, the thing is, and I understand, and I also heard Ben Shapiro talking about Human Shield. So you remember my wife's family, they live in Gaza. So I asked them, I told them, when Israel give you the nice warning, the cute warning, does Hamas force you to stay in your home so you can be bombed and use as human shield? You know what, Hassan here, my wife's cousin, he's a loser, you know. He told me, you know, when I asked him, does that happen? He told me, no. The lying son of a bitch lied to me. I told him, you don't understand. Ben Shapiro and Ron DeSantis keep saying that Israel warns you and Hamas asks you to stay put. So I told you, he's a loser. He never kept a job. He even like failed in all of the interviews to become like a human shield.
Not only did he embarrass Piers Morgan, I think Piers Morgan admit that Israel is a terrorist state. Well, maybe not kind of sort of. Just Piers walked right into that. Sort of like how you see people walk into a glass door. That's what he did. He just adds in a joke. Yeah, man, I got this family member. He failed in all the interviews to be a human shield. How? Now I know it's a joke, but damn, how bad do you have to be? Like, look, Bobby. I'm pretty sure there's nobody named Bobby in Gaza. Watch, there's going to be somebody in Gaza named Bobby. There's going to be somebody. Hey, look, Bobby, listen. Look, I like your enthusiasm, but you're not what we're looking for to be a human shield. You don't look like a team player. Someone's knocking the door. Hey, guys, It's time for you to be human shields. Line up.
I would believe Ben Shapiro.
Let me ask you this.
So let's go with that. No. Let me ask you.
At some point, I must be able to ask you questions.
You are asking him questions, Piers. It's just, dude. You're what the young kids call a clown.
Not a monologue for you,
if we agree that for the 14,000 casualties, I mean, who's counting, are human shield, does that mean that every single one of those civilians was standing, obscuring a military target behind them? Because that's a lot of weapons. I mean, Hamas is packing.
No, of course it doesn't. And look,
it doesn't. So there's some collateral damage. Lots of collateral damage.
Yes,
it's fine. Yeah, you kill some to save some, and then kill some more. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this again. It comes back to proportionate response. When the world,
hold on, but wait, there's more. But damn, man, Piers, listen, baby, lovely. You look a little triggered. All I gotta say is,
oof.
But there's more. There's more because it gets better. It just keeps on getting better and better and better. So let's pull up this video here. Let me just pull this video up.
I don't have any excuse.
Okay, what's your explanation? Sorry, my earpiece went down.
Listen, I don't make any pretense that this hasn't been a massive problem.
Okay,
between Palestine and Israel going back to the mid-40s. We all know this, right?
Piers, listen. I'm not saying that you're making excuse, but if you are adopting a certain point of view, you have to at least defend it. I'm telling you, there is no Hamas in the West Bank. What is the excuse? Not your excuse. What is the excuse to kill those people?
Well, listen, this question of proportionality is one that...
No, answer my question. I've been answering your question. You answer mine.
It's actually not my job to answer your question.
Well, it is your job as a commentator, a reporter, not only to ask questions and have a conversation with your guests, but to the best of your ability, you should be prepared when your guest asks you a question. I mean, that's show running 101. Piers, I know you seem a little triggered, but even yours truly knows that. I know that. Everybody knows that. Okay? Now, you could take the high road and say, I can't answer that question. Because guess what? No one in the whole world knows everything, okay? Don't ever sit here in life and pretend to know everything, because guess what? There's something, you're going to learn something new every day. Just like how in real time, going to play this video segment again. We played it earlier. Now, Bassem Youssef made Piers Morgan admit that Israel is a terrorist state. Well, what?
Amongst people who weren't listening. The comparison, which is...
Oh, hold on.
I want to understand, what is the logic of Israel carpet bombing Gaza? I mean, if there's a logic, if this will make Israel safe, I want to hear the logic. So if they continue bombing, what are they hoping to achieve?
Well, I think we know what their stated aim is. Their stated aim is to eradicate and wipe out Hamas. They believe Hamas are living predominantly in northern Gaza. They also are aware they're living amongst civilians. So it's an incredibly difficult thing. As I said in my monologue, it is very, very difficult to see how they do this without massive collateral damage.
So if I can understand this correctly, basically Israel is doing this to pressure the Palestinian community in Gaza to turn against Hamas. Is that right?
I'm sure that's part of it, yes.
That's part of it. So this is exactly what terrorist organizations do, because terrorist organizations will have no chance beating a whole nation in battle. So they terrorize and they kill the civilians in order to spread fear and terror so they can turn against their government to change their policy or to resign. You have just compared Israel with ISIS.
No, I haven't. I don't see any comparison between.
It's going to be the headlines tomorrow. Piers Morgan, Israel is ISIS.
Only amongst people who weren't listening. The comparison, which is.
But hold on, there's more gems. I just had to play that video again because that's pure gold. More laughter in a world that's just going crazy.
But the thing is, this is the problem. Israel always victimizes itself. And I have never seen a victim putting their oppressor under siege and bombing them 24/7. Israel wants you to believe that they are the victim. Dealing with Israel is so difficult. It's like being in a relationship with a narcissistic psychopath. He fucks you up, and then he makes you think it's your fault.
All right,
you look at Israel as Superman, but they're really Homelander.
Wallahi, they're like... oh, man. Bassem Youssef, I mean, in case any of you don't know, he is a comedian. And yes, I did reach out to him to see if we could have him on our show. I don't know if that'll happen anytime soon, but that would be great if we could get him on the show. However, I mean, 10 out of 10. Comparing Israel to Superman when really it's Homelander. After all, as Homelander would say after destruction and death and destruction all around, hey, you guys are the real heroes. Hey, just one more time for the people in the back, in case you missed that lovely gem.
But dealing with Israel is so difficult. It's like being in a relationship with a narcissistic psychopath. He fucks you up, and then he makes you think it's your fault.
All right,
you look at Israel as Superman, but they're really Homelander. Wallahi,
and that flew over Piers Morgan's head like Superman, like Omni-Man, like Homelander. Hell, I'll even throw in Goku as well. Why not?
Like they are shooting fish in a barrel, and they are annoyed with the splashes.
And one last final thing, because let's face it, Piers Morgan got triggered. He got owned on his own show, and Bassem Youssef just dragged him through coals. So one last final video, and I'll give you my final thoughts.
Ask the question, can I say something on my side?
Well, Bassem, with respect,
a little bit personal.
Bassem, with respect, I gave you half the show to have your side. Jeremy's had a lot less time. I'm going to have to.
You want me to leave?
Bassem, I'm going to have to let you go because we've been on there with you for 40 minutes.
Okay, bye.
But listen,
bye.
I would like to talk to you again, and thank you for joining the program. I appreciate it.
Oh, by the way, my wife's family is all right, and they sent us a house. It's bombed. It's beautiful. It's going to be a good like Halloween theme. So
well, I'm very sorry for what your family are going through in Gaza, and I mean that very sincerely.
By the way, I don't know. I don't know him. By the way, I haven't actually met them. They didn't even come to my wedding. They couldn't because they are stuck in Gaza. Okay. And she never saw them because, Gaza is not a destination.
Bassem, as I say,
we hear their voices, and it's they die. It's fine. It's fine.
Bassem, I wish your family all the very best. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
I don't. Thank you.
Jeremy?
Pure gold. Doesn't see Piers Morgan get slapped around. I loved every single minute. And that whole interview, it's available online. Those are some wonderful highlights, some wonderful gems that people all across social media have decided to click, copy, and share to all. And that's what we need in this day and age, humor. And also, enough for the fact to shine a light just how pathetic corporate media is right now. Because corporate media as an institution, is not informing the people about what's happening. And anytime there's a person out there that challenges the system, be it through academia, through comedy, through any kind of platform, they're automatically vilified. And I think it's now is the time to push back against the media establishment, because the media establishment is purposely lying to us, misleading us, keeping us in the dark. And we have to fight for that better future. So as the world is going crazy, as the world is burning up, at least we have some humor to bring the truth into the light. Because it's time that it happens. So shout out to Bassem Youssef. We invite him to be on our show. If that can be arranged, that would be great. But don't forget, folks. Don't forget to smile. We're only here once.